We're opening up this video by reading a Reddit post on the Habs sub. This was made by NightSky02, and it asks the question, could Juraj Slafkovsky be better than Connor Bedard? Seeing how fast Slafkovsky is improving, I'm just wondering if some teams would have drafted him ahead of Bedard if they were in the same draft year. Could Slafkovsky turn out to be better than Bedard? And look, I'm gonna downvote this, and the top comments go out there and say, hey, take this post down, it makes our Habs look like idiots. Yeah, Slafkovsky is not gonna be better than Bedard, but I am making this video, titling it and thumbnailing it the way that I am, because when it comes to a few other certain statistics, he's actually caught up. Take a look at this, a tale of two former first overall picks through 92 NHL career games. Jack Hughes had 14 goals and 37 points, plus 5 power play goals. Juraj Slafkovsky has overtaken him. 15 goals, 37 points, so tied for points, but +1 on the power play goals. Juraj Slafkovsky has officially caught up to Jack Hughes. And no, it's not like Slafkovsky is a 100-point monster like Jack is right now. These guys were separated by 3 years worth of drafts, so you could understand that there's not really like a direct comparison here. But when you talk about Slafkovsky doing the things that Jack Hughes did in this time frame within the span of their careers, he is right up in there, neck and neck. And the top comment goes out there and illuminates a very good point that needs to be discussed when bringing up this entire statistical breakdown of Jack Hughes. To be fair, with those numbers, everyone was calling Jack Hughes a bust at the time. And yes, that is exactly what was going on in this time frame. In fact, if you go over onto our channel over here, go over to the popular videos and scroll down, I guarantee you'll find the Jack Hughes conversation that we had a few years ago. Here it is, a serious discussion on Jack Hughes. He was on pace at that time for the worst first overall rookie season in 20 years, and I think he ended up getting it. Now, the thing is, he actually had that worst first overall rookie season for only about a year, because Alexis Lafreniere came in the next year and had an even worse season. But for a moment, there was a time that we were talking about Jack Hughes saying that, yeah, this guy, he's not looking all too good. His first year in the NHL was worse than Yakupov's. And oh yeah, by the way, the other one is up here too. Jack Hughes just had the worst first overall rookie season in 20 years. That was the video we made talking about all the numbers here. And of course, the good part is when it comes to Jack Hughes and what he has accomplished, if you head over to his profile nowadays, I mean, he's doing fine. 48 points, 36 games played, on pace for about 88 points in a 66-game campaign. And last year, he had 99 points in 78 games. Hughes has been good, and everybody recognizes that he's one of the top young players in the NHL today. And, by the way, happy birthday to Lane Hudson. That guy's 20 years old now, kind of nuts to see. Hughes is only 22 years old, so as he ages into 23, 24, 25, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be able to produce multiple 82, 90, 100-point seasons as his career goes on. But we all have to remember, when he was in the midst of this season right here, 2020, 2021, 2019, 2020, he was not producing all too much. So we said, hey, this guy could be not really as great as we thought he'd be, and it eventually boiled over into his over-point per game shortened COVID year season, 21-22, he had 56 points in 49 games played. And that was the pretty good bounce back for Jack Hughes. Even though he was injured for a good chunk of that season, he still was good. And that's sort of the turning point that we had where we were thinking, okay, maybe he actually is a lot better than the Neil Yakupov comparison that people were kind of tossing out there in a joking way. So for Juraj Slafkovsky to go out there and match that, now if we go over here, I mean, he's one of the trending players, so it's easy to jump to Slafkovsky and his profile. 19 years old, at this point he's at 27 points in 53 games played, on pace for about 42 on the full season. But of course, that's including the first half of the year's production wherein Slafkovsky wasn't doing all too hot. In fact, let's jump back over onto the Habs sub and read this post made by GoHabsGo31. Here's a reminder that the Montreal Canadiens management were ready to send Slafkovsky down to the AHL in November, but coach Marty St. stepped in and insisted that Juraj stay in the NHL to be coached further. Slafkovsky has 26 points in 44 games played since then. This is the post made on the image when everything seemed to be going against Slafkovsky, when even the other coaches allowed themselves thinly veiled criticism. Martin St. insisted the young man was on the verge of coming out of his shell, and he asked the organization to continue the development of the Slovak in the NHL. And I think that decision has paid off in spades, considering the fact that now the guy's getting multi-point games, he's getting power play markers, he's getting power play goals, he's outproducing Jack Hughes at this point in their early careers. Now, does this mean that by the time Juraj Slafkovsky is 20, 21, 22, let's say next year, does he get an over a point per game season? In 2 years, does he get 99 points? In 3 years, does he have a 100-point pace season? Probably not. I think it's a little bit brash to go out there and assume that Slafkovsky will be a 100-point caliber player in the next 2 years, but there still is a lot of good progression here, and the fact that he's able to sort of keep up the pace with other first overall picks that have had their struggles as well, at the very least, there is hope that can be inspired throughout this progression. Now, I don't have the numbers for Alexis Lafreniere right in front of me, but because Lafreniere's season was that much worse than Jack Hughes when they were both first overall guys in their rookie years, I would assume that Slafkovsky's doing a tad better than Laffy did. But at the same time, I mean, the fact that Slafkovsky has gotten so good with 11 points in his last 10 games, 8 points in his last 5, he's over a point per game in his recent stint, that now we have Canadiens fans asking, could he be better than Bedard? It actually does paint a pretty cool picture as to where he's gone from 4 months ago until today. Martin St. did this guy a solid, and I don't think that's being given enough credit at this point, which is, kind of talked about in the Reddit posts, etc., etc. But yeah, Marty St. man, he kind of saw this coming. Maybe not in this capacity, maybe not in an over point per game sort of production rate like we are seeing right now, but just in general, Marty St. knew that there was more to give from Juraj Slafkovsky in the 2023-2024 season. He saw the potential, he saw hope, and he executed. So for Juraj Slafkovsky, I mean, some of the comments are going out there and describing his game too. Let's just have some fun reading these. Slafkovsky has turned out to be a highly adaptable player, but they could have easily hurt his development by bringing him up so early. They've been much more patient with young players after Slafkovsky too. And that is indeed one of the things that I think could have very well been discussed earlier on in his career as well, because Slafkovsky wasn't really doing all too hot in the Liga point production-wise anyway, up until the playoffs where he actually got a better role. But he was really good internationally. That's kind of where all his draft stock came from. The Olympic Games, the qualifiers, the World Championships, he was good there. But in his regular league play, you could already see there was some room for doubt from the point production he possessed just straight up in the TPS system. So if the Canadiens, felt that they were rushing him a little bit, if they felt that maybe the best choice would have been to leave him in Finland, develop a little bit more, then honestly, I feel like that would have been an appropriate way to progress with his development too. Like, I didn't think it was necessary, quote unquote, to really force him into the National Hockey League. And his production in the NHL in his first season was so poor that by the time the season wrapped up, people were saying, yeah, they rushed him. They rushed him. He shouldn't have been here. He should have been back in Finland. He should have been playing European hockey and getting those numbers in the Liga a little bit more up there. But now, hey, he's made the jump. He's in the NHL, and he's learning from St. Louis, and he's become more adaptable, and he's become more reliable, and he's shooting now. He's scoring more goals. Mike Matheson is passing to this guy now. Everything has been going very, very well. So now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Juraj Slafkovsky actually catching up to Jack Hughes within the span of their first 92 NHL career games. Of course, Jack Hughes is a 100-point pace player now. Slafkovsky is not. But when Jack Hughes was this young and had this amount of games played, Slafkovsky is neck and neck. What does that say to you? What do you think Slafkovsky's production pace is going to go towards as his career continues on? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.